Hello! So, we are now streaming to both YouTube and Stream.me. Everything is fine. So, let's go over Jim Watkins. Actually, let's start at the beginning, because I get a feeling that a lot of people are going to need a recap on what 8chan is. 8chan is not the big name it used to be, and some of you will need a little bit of information to put you in the right state of mind. No, I will be, because I know this is 8chan, and a lot of people still use 8chan, and a lot of people don't like me, specifically because of my involvement with 8chan. So I will be trying to take questions and shit. So I will be hawking chat, and if you have a question, go ahead and shout it out as I'm going through things, and I'll try my best to answer it. Sorry, Prepsong, you gotta go. Alright, so let me see if I can find a picture real quick. I guess I should have prepped better, but this was a short notice stream. I had just got my translation of a court document done, and I was like, I should schedule this. So Jim Watkins and Fredrick Brennan. And I'll take you back to the start. So Jim's the guy in the background. This is a different screen cap from the same stream they did together. Essentially, Jim Watkins he received 8chan from Fredrick. Fredrick was the original, the little guy, was the original administrator of WizardChan, which was a website for virgins. But Fredrick lost his virginity, so he could not, in good conscience, maintain WizardChan anymore. He gave WizardChan to a different person who ended up being my administrator on the Kiwi Farms at some point, and started. No, this is not Crippled Jesus from the Dick Show. This is Fredrick Brennan. But he started up 8chan as part of the Infinity Project. And the Infinity Project was a merge, in his own words, this is not me making a generalization, he described it as a mix between Reddit and 4chan, where you can make your own boards and moderate your own communities without worrying about the global rules too much. So there were very few global rules on 8chan. Essentially nothing illegal in the United States, and that was it. So, 8chan existed a long time before Gamergate, but it got its kickstart after Gamergate started, because Moot, for the first time, banned all discussion of something. He essentially banned Gamergate and said that he didn't want another project Chanology. So he got rid of Gamergate discussion, and it transplanted somewhere else, and where somewhere else was 8chan. Moot had also banned very far-right politics from Poll for some time, and general small communities throughout the site were unhappy. So 8chan got a huge bonus from all this exodus, this original exodus from 4chan to 8chan. And thus, the problems started. He couldn't keep the site hosted. He ran into all the myriad of hosting problems that the Kiwi Farms had, but Fredrick isn't able-bodied, and he didn't have the kind of financial base to keep 8chan afloat on his own. So he was very fortunately contacted by Ron, who is the son of Jim Watkins, and Jim Watkins runs 2channel as of current. And he has his own ISP based in Las Vegas. So he just said, I'll take 8chan, I'll host it alongside 2chan in Nevada. You'll continue to be the administrator, and hopefully we can develop 8chan into something that is economically stable long term. But for now, I'll just let you guys bum off of my resources. And if it hadn't have been for Jim, 8chan would have died. Most assuredly, it would have died. There is no way for him to keep it up. There was just too many problems and too many very high-profile enemies mounting up against it throughout this process. So, I should briefly cover my involvement as well. I did not meet Jim originally. I was working payroll, developing software in Australia, and my job made me so depressed I just quit one day. My productivity had gotten low, and they asked me, like, do you even still want to work for the company? And I was like, no, I really don't. I can't stand it anymore. So I did leave, and I immediately contacted Fredrick, who I had been kind of friendly with through my knowing him through Kiwi Farms, and a brief stint as a global moderator for 8chan. And I said, look, I think we could rewrite the software, because we had both been aware of mounting technical issues in 8chan that was preventing the site from staying up and being affordable to host. And it was generally just causing all sorts of grievances and preventing the development of the software long term. He eventually agreed to it. I moved to the Philippines and I began work. We crowdfunded $12,000, mostly over the first 4 months, and mostly from a handful of very large donors, including Fredrick himself. And I worked on it mostly by myself, almost entirely by myself. And I think I worked from June or July to either September or early November, or late November. And Jim met me for like the second time, but this time it was a business meeting. He was interested in financing the project, and money was getting low and stuff, but he offered rent, utilities, and like $2,400 a month, which was perfect. It would have been a lifesaver. But the condition was that Infinity Next would belong to him only. The entire project rewrite, or the entire rewrite for the site, would belong exclusively to NTT Tech, and it would be closed source. And the project was crowdsourced or crowdfunded on the promise that the source would be open. And that was what the majority of the users wanted. So when I told him I really can't negotiate on that, it has to be open source, he literally stormed out. We were in a coffee shop. He literally just said that I was wasting his time, and he stormed out. That was my first real experience talking to Jim, not at like a meeting or something. So that didn't look good, but it continued. The development continued. I was just going to do it without the help of the company that essentially owned 8chan. And when it fell apart in January of, I want to say 2016, Fredrick blamed it on me, essentially, because he had to keep his good standing with Jim. As he said recently, he came out and spoke out against Jim. And I left the project, or I didn't leave the project. I left 8chan, I left the Philippines, I went back home for a while. And I tried to maintain the code base and stuff. I tried to go ahead, but there was just no money for it. There was no way that I could support myself and continue developing Infinity Next. So I ended up stopping there. Fredrick continued to promote the idea that 8chan should use the new code, but Jim refused unless it was closed source. He wanted it. He did not want the AGPL open source license. And 8chan never migrated to Infinity Next as a result. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I wrote down some notes. One other thing I do want to mention, because people continue to bring this up to this day, is that people ask me if I was doing meth or Adderall while working on it, and the answer is no. In the logs, I asked Fredrick to find Adderall, because he had good scripts and stuff for like painkillers. I'm like, can you just get me Adderall so I can work more? And I never got Adderall from him. But people thought that I was like some kind of pillhead spending money on it. No. The only thing I did get was like modafinil, which is a nootropic. It's not like an upper, like a Adderall. So that was essentially it with Infinity Next. And obviously, if Jim had helped payroll it, not that I expected him to, really, it probably would have succeeded. I mean, if you want to disagree and say that I'm shit and it's my fault, more power to you. But as far as as far as that goes. I did everything I could, and I don't think anybody wanted the project to succeed more than me. Maybe Frederick, but even then, like, I really busted my ass to try to get it to work, and it almost did. There was a couple blockers at the end that resulted in like arguing and shit, and that's what killed it eventually. But it got really close to working. So now we have a post next 8chan. That's kind of where we're at right now. Frederick eventually got removed as admin from 8chan, and it got taken over by Ron, Jim's kid, who originally wanted to obtain 8chan to begin with. And without Frederick in the picture, they replaced him with like 4 different people. There's like a dedicated developer. There's a dedicated like social media guy that handles emails and shit. There's Ron, and then there's some other guy. And what was originally 2 people got replaced with 4, and it got replaced with actual money coming in from the company. And that's what eventually pissed Frederick off to the point where he left the company not just as admin of 8chan, but entirely. Was 2 things. First, it was this. Second, it was the meat of this, what I'm actually going to go over and try and elaborate on what 8chan's future is, because right now it's not good. And that's not just me. That's not just me being spiteful. It is actually in a pretty dire place right now. So it's slowly been falling out of relevance and out of the prominence that it was at the height of Gamergate. But Jim continues to maintain it and sink money on it. And if you're wondering why he would do that when he doesn't make any money off of it, the answer is it's despite a former business partner called Hiroyuki. Now, you might be familiar with the name Hiroyuki Nishimura, and it's not for no reason. He currently owns 4chan. He took over 4chan after Moot left. And allegedly, Moot sold it for a lot of money, because Moot was looking for a buyer at the peak of Gamergate, and he was asking for like $25 million non-negotiable. I don't know if that happened with Hiroyuki, but because I don't think Hiroyuki has that kind of money. But Hiroyuki does have money, and he has experience with 2channel, which is, I think, like one of the top 10 largest websites in Japan. It's a massive website. And you probably watch anime. If you watch anime, you've probably seen references to 2chan. It's just a facet of their society, in the same way that Reddit might be, like in the U.S. But that is Jim's. Jim owns 2chan that Hiroyuki started. And Hiroyuki now owns 4chan, and he didn't get 4chan until halfway through the development of Infinity Next. And that's when Jim decided he cared. He got involved and started wanting to own the source code for Infinity Next, specifically because he wanted to make a proprietary version of it to go head-to-head with Hiroyuki. He didn't care at all about the prospects of the site until after his business rival got 4chan. And then, out of spite alone, he's been invested in keeping the site up. So, how did Jim get 2channel? The answer is he took it from Hiroyuki. That is indisputable. He took it from Hiroyuki. He did not get gifted it. Hiroyuki didn't die and he inherited it. But the details of how he took it is what's been up for debate for literally years. He took it in 2014, and it's been alleged that... Actually, let me explain what Jim did. In the 1990s, Jim ran pornography hosting. And I'm sure you've seen censored Japanese porn. Well, a way to get around that is to host your porn outside of the U.S. So it's not illegal to access pornography in Japan. It's illegal to produce and host uncensored pornography in Japan. So by hosting 2channel outside of Japan and in the United States, Hiroyuki could have his 2channel just the way he wanted it without any problems from the Japanese government. And the technical administrator, I want to say, was a guy called Zero, or the company that helped with 2channel was called Zero. And his partnership with Jim involved Jim maintaining the servers through a company called NT Technology. And by hosting it in the US, he allowed Hiroyuki to have his website as he wanted it to. But at some point, after years of hosting 2chan, the original arrangements of their business changed. And it changed from Zero running advertisements on 2chan and collecting the money from that to afford the hosting, to 2chan as a very profitable entity paying something like $20,000 a month. The details are in the document I'm going to read. But in short, the arrangement changed, and Jim was getting money directly from 2chan, from Hiroyuki, to afford the hosting. And at some point, Jim locked Hiroyuki out of his servers and no longer allowed Hiroyuki to access his own website, and essentially seized not only the website, not only the servers that Hiroyuki had been renting, but also the domain name 2ch.net. And that's why 8chan is 8ch.net, because after taking 2chan, Hiroyuki tried to open his own 2chan up again with a different host, which is currently 2ch.sc or something. And Jim, in defense of the brand, bought every variation of ch.net. He owns 8ch.net. He owns like every number from 0 to 100 or something .net, to keep Hiroyuki from making another number version of the site with the same format. So Jim claims and has claimed that Hiroyuki was a meth head and that Hiroyuki irresponsibly abandoned the site and stopped paying money to him for the hosting service. Hiroyuki claims that Jim just flat out stole it. He just kicked him out one day and never let him back in, and it's entirely on him. So, sorry, I have to kick somebody from the stream.me chat because they're just spamming. So after taking the website, there was a hack, a breach of 2chan from an unknown actor, which leaked tons of information about the users, because 2chan is not actually private. 2chan has accounts, it's just pseudo-anonymous, right? And that pseudo-anonymity could link all the posts together under the actual account. So when that happened, there was a lot of shame. There was a lot of high-profile people who were completely embarrassed by the links, and it completely fucked them up. And I think 2chan even got sued by some of these people for the act, but Jim successfully blamed it on Hiroyuki. Jim said that Hiroyuki had added some sort of kill switch, that if he lost control of the server, he would know how to exploit it to stop Jim from running it himself. And ultimately, Hiroyuki did get a criminal penalty in Japan, and he is essentially a fugitive in his own country. He can't go back to Japan. But that hasn't stopped him from filing litigation in Japan on a civil level to continue trying to get 2channel back. And in 2018, one of the courts finally ruled in a pretty decisive way against Jim and against NTT Tech. So now we're at the fun part. We're at the court ruling, and I happen to have a copy of this. Let me show you where it comes from, though, so you get the idea. This is Twitter. This is the Twitter account of Hiroyuki Nishimura, the owner of 4chan and the previous owner of 2chan, and he's linking to this document over here. I think that's my version. Yes, it is. So this is the original document. See, this tweet has gotten thousands of retweets, thousands of likes, hundreds of comments, but it's almost entirely contained in Japanese Twitter. It hasn't really permeated outside of of the Japanese people who follow this 2chan drama. It has no penetration to the 8chan market at all. Partly because he published it only in Japanese, and I can't even find a button to translate this shit with Bing, which is odd. Usually the Bing thing is there. So you go to his site on the 2ch.sc, SC being Seychelles, and it's a full page, it's a full court document in Japanese. But I've had it translated. So now we're going to go over what the Japanese court has said and what that means for 2chan. I should mention that Jim's actually had problems with 2chan losing popularity. And a huge part of that has to do with the rise of Twitter. So Twitter is actually insanely popular in Japan, which is a pretty technologically regressive area. They don't like anything that's not basic. I can actually show you this pretty easily. If you go to yahoo.com, right, you see Yahoo. And Yahoo is the biggest search provider in Japan. So you go to yahoo.co.jp, and unless I'm an idiot and they've changed it recently, ta-da, Yahoo.Japan looks exactly as it did like 10 years ago, because the Japanese hate any change. They like their websites to look shitty and old, and that's why 2chan hasn't been stylistically upgraded in a fucking decade, because they hate it. So while Twitter has been getting popular, 2chan has been losing popularity, and every time 2chan tries to update its style to compete with Twitter, the Japanese get mad. And Jim really fucking hates the Japanese. He fucking hates them because they put them in an awkward situation where they don't like him because he's not Japanese. They don't like his site anymore because it's losing popularity to Twitter, and anything that he does to try and compete with Twitter, they hate him even more. So let's get into the document. I'm just going to have an editor's note up here. I'm probably going to host this somewhere public so people can access it. This is a comment left by Hiroyuki. So everything in these paragraphs is Hiroyuki, and I'll just read them. The Tokyo District Court has decided that company NT Technologies that controls the 2-channel bulletin board has committed a crime. The plaintiff, Hiroyuki Nishimura, has won. It has been established as a fact that NT Technologies was in charge of maintaining the servers. The defendant, NT Technologies, has stated that the maintenance of the servers is a joint venture between them and Nishimura. Even though they originally claimed that Race Queen Incorporated was in charge of the administration of the servers, the court decided that these statements were contradictory. The president of NT Technologies, Jim Watkins, according to Wikipedia, dismissed Hiroyuki from the management of the server because of failure to pay the server fees. The plaintiff, Hiroyuki, stated that he had done more than what was necessary, including things such as paying for the server fees in advance. The president of NT Technologies, Jim Watkins, according to Wikipedia, dismissed Hiroyuki from the management of the server because of failure to pay server fees. The plaintiff, Hiroyuki, stated that he had done more than what was necessary. Wait, did I duplicate something? I did. Since the defendant, NT Technologies, has never had anything to do with the management of 2channel, it is clear in his ruling that they have no authority to dismiss Hiroyuki. Based on the provisional judgments, those involved in the takeover are thereby doing it illegally. Please acknowledge that there is a possibility that there will be prosecution in this criminal case. Meaning, he's essentially threatening Jim here. So, again, Jim's managed to get this fucking guy banned from Japan. If he goes back, he'd get arrested for hacking. And he's now saying, I'm going to get you fucked because you've stolen from me, basically. So the entire document is here. I tried to edit it a little bit to make it clean, and obviously I fucked up. So I'll give it a once over again to make sure that that it's legible. I'm going to skip section 1 because section 1 is boring. It's only about jurisdiction, and it's basically Japan saying that we have international jurisdiction here because 2chan is a Japanese company. And that's an important thing because, as you might have picked up on in how I read this, there's two companies involved, and Jim Watkins isn't the defendant in either. The defendant is NT Technologies, which is the ISP in Nevada, and the other company is called Race Queen Incorporated, another company that Jim owns. So Jim has all these different fucking bullshit company names that he uses to fuck with people, and in this case, he fucked himself. Because he tried to claim that originally the partnership of 2chan was between Hiroyuki or one of his associates or representatives and NT Technologies, well, Race Queen hosted the servers. And now he's trying to claim the opposite or some other combination of factors that led to the Japanese courts deciding that all of the original testimony regarding the informal or formal contracts between Hiroyuki and Jim are invalid. So from the desk of the judge secretary, request to the restoration to its original state. This is from this right here, and this is like the header of the document. Original state I've given a bit of information for. It's a legal term in Japanese that means putting a situation back to the way it was before a contract or a breach of contract. And in this instance, it revolves around the ownership of 2Channel. So the verdict, just right up front, no question about it. The defendant will pay to the plaintiff $1.2 million as well as $260,000 from until that date, I guess. $50,000 from this state and $118,000 from the state in 6 installments over the course of a year. The defendant is also responsible for the cost of any legal fees, which I guess would be Hiroyuki's representation. And this is temporary based on the first verdict. So again, I'm going to skip over issue 1, which is about jurisdiction, and go straight to issue 2. Which is this. I just skipped over that too. Regarding the relationship between the plaintiff and the defendant. Next, according to the evidence, the following facts are acknowledged to see the status of the plaintiffs and the defendants involved concerning 2Channel and the business outsourcing contract. Regarding the statements made by plaintiffs' representatives, the credibility of the statements concerning the first point is high. The degree of charge is also specific for other circumstances, and even if they are examined closely, it can be said that the content is reasonable and that it should be said that we can sufficiently trust the part concerning the following certification. This is the part where they outline the relationships. The plaintiff delegate opened and operated 2Channel around 1999. Plaintiff delegates received no notification from an outside company named Zero, ran by Nakao Yoshihiro, around 2000, in order to post Zero's advertisements on 2Channel. Around that time, Zero was the defendant's sales agent, and in exchange for placing advertisements on 2Channel, it would make it possible to use the defendant's servers for free, referring to Jim's servers. At the beginning of using the defendant's servers, Jim Watkins was the financier and manager plus Nakao as his representatives. Around 2002, Nakao stated that he wanted to charge the plaintiff's representatives with a fee for using the server, and a contract was set up for $20,000 a month to be paid in order to use the server. Subsequently, the above contract became a business outsourcing contract, and the plaintiff began paying money to the defendant. So it used to be, as they're saying, that Nakao was Jim's representative in Japan who ran a advertising firm, one of the largest in Japan. I've met him. He bought me like Japanese soup, and it was really good. He also gave me money, which I bought a monitor with, which is a reoccurring theme in my life now. And I think Zero still runs advertisements on 2Channel to this day. So Jim allowed 2Channel to use its servers for free as long as Nakao Yoshihiro was allowed to run advertisements on 2Channel. But in 2002, 2Channel had grown so big that they wanted to change the organization, the agreement that they were in. Instead of allowing Nakao to post ads on 2Chan, they wanted a contract of $20,000 US a month to be paid in order to use Jim's hardware. And he has multiple servers dedicated just to 2Chan. Even though it's all text, it uses like terabytes of data. It's a massive fucking website. And subsequently, the above contract became a business outsourcing contract, and the plaintiff began paying money to the defendant, meaning that it was not some kind of partnership and that they operated the site together. It was an outsourcing contract where Hiroyuki was paying money to Jim to outsource the business as opposed to going into business together, where they both put things into the corporation for ownership. It was instead outsourcing. So Nakao left the management of the defendant afterwards, and Jim began managing the defendant. And defendant in this context, by the way, is NT Technologies. It's not a person. So I'll try to say NT Technologies instead of defendant. Jim came to ask Hiroyuki for prepayment of business commission for this business outsourcing agreement for the allegation that the defendant's older sister was sick, that business was not going well, and he needed money. So I don't know why they would say defendant's older sister was sick, because a company can't have an older sister. So Jim tried to bait him into paying up front. However, at what time this occurred is not necessarily clear. In response to Jim's request of payment, the plaintiff, Hiroyuki, made remittance to the defendant as described in what I assume is a later section. So the defendant, NT Technology, on February 19th, 2014, prevented the plaintiff, Hiroyuki, access to 2-channel servers, and the defendant himself started to manage 2-channel. And since it began to use advertisements on 2-channel, the plaintiff representative said that he was unable to access the 2-channel server and contacted Jim and said he would be able to regain access if the plaintiff's representatives paid $50,000. The plaintiff remitted $50,000 to the defendant on the 21st of the same month, but the plaintiff could not access the 2-channel server after that. So Jim basically locked him out, kicked him out of 2-channel, and said, you got to pay me up front $50,000 if you want to get back access to the server. And even though Hiroyuki did do that, according to the court documents, Jim kept him locked out of 2-channel. So from the above sections, we can confirm, if we examine the facts, that until February 19th, 2014, 2-channel was managed by the plaintiff, as in Hiroyuki, and on the same day, according to NT Technology, the plaintiff was no longer involved in the website, and instead it was necessary to say that the defendant took over management of 2-channel. To the contrary, the defendant alleges that in the time of filing, 2-channel was claimed to be run by Race Queen Incorporated. But according to the defendant himself, at the same time he was running 2-channel as a joint project with the plaintiff, while insisting that the company above separately operated 2-channel. The argument contradicts itself, and therefore the defendant's claim cannot be accepted. So him saying that Race Queen operated 2-channel while NT Technology ran the servers, but the company was paying NT Technologies for a contract with Hiroyuki to host the servers, essentially impeached his own testimony and made it look like he was a dirty little liar. So the courts eventually decided that Hiroyuki was the one telling the truth, and Jim just kicked him out in breach of contract. Even if we leave it at this, the evidence part 4 states that Race Queen Incorporated is the owner of 2chan.net domain on the 2chan's bulletin board. However, the facts certified under sections 1 and 2 are not to be ignored from this description, and therefore it cannot be said that it denies the involvement of the defendant in the above-mentioned Race Queen Incorporated. Therefore, in any case, the defendant's claim cannot be accepted. Furthermore, in this case, it cannot be concluded that the above circumstances have changed until the filing of this case. And then in issue 2, based on the circumstances at the time of the plaintiff's filing of the case, if the defendant could be said to be the administrator of the Japanese language site called 2channel, which is able to be viewed in Japan, then the defendant may be said to be the person engaged to be in business in Japan. So this is, again, establishing jurisdiction where Japan has the right to decide what happens in this case. And issue 2, as approved in the preceding years, acknowledge that this contract outsourcing has been concluded. Issue 3, the defendant's default, as it has been approved in the preceding year, that at least since February 2011, it has been accepted that the plaintiff, as requested by defendant, has paid the service commission fee pertaining to this business outsourcing agreement and ahead of schedule. Incidentally, with respect to the money paid by the plaintiff, the money sent by the plaintiff to the defendant pertains to the business outsourcing contract. Since there are no unpaid incidences in the past for payment exceeding $20,000 a month, it cannot be regarded as paying future business commissions. And I'll just skip to the conclusion here. Issue 4. Whether the defendant is obliged to restore the original state due to the, again, original state refers to a legal sense where things have to be returned to former ownership. As described above, the plaintiff regarding this business outsourcing contract, it is to be made effective intention to be released from the contract based on the defendant's default of said contract, and can be said that the contract was terminated by this release. Furthermore, concerning the business commission fee paid in advance for the work which has not yet been done, if the contract is terminated without the work being done, it is assumed the natural for the co-signer to ask for a refund. Therefore, the plaintiff should be able to request the defendant to return the commission fee for the prepaid amount already paid as a request for recovering the state. According to the above, there is no reason to consider the remainder of the information. Therefore, this is a reason for the claim by the plaintiff, meaning that everything that Jim put up that was not relevant to this decision is now just completely forgotten. They don't care about it. And as mentioned above, there are reasons for plaintiff's claim, so it will be accepted and judged based on the information in the main part. All this says, again, this is just the details of this original finding. Jim is going to be paying, or the Japanese are trying to get Jim to pay Hiroyuki well over $1 million. Well over $2 million, because they're not only charging him the full amount that 2 Channel has made during this time that Jim's run it. They're asking that he refund all the money that he made from Hiroyuki over the course of their contract, and the $50,000 that he paid in advance, and interest on all of that. So they're gonna fucking bleed him dry if they can. And this is really bad news for Jim, because Hiroyuki is now in America trying to get this court order enforced by the U.S. government, and that would involve taking all the servers from the ISP potentially that Jim runs in Nevada, which is where 8chan is hosted. So they could just take 8chan as well, but also the domain 2ch.net. And very incidentally, if you go to 2ch.net right now, you get redirected to 5chan, 5ch.net. Look, they even have a cute little animation where the doggo kicks the 2 and it turns to 5. And the reason why he's done this is incredibly short-sighted, or incredibly obvious to detect, is that the court has ordered 2ch.net to be relinquished to Hiroyuki. But 5ch.net is not a part of that. So he's trying to protect himself and keep the site by moving it to 5ch.net, so that even if Hiroyuki gets 2ch.net, hopefully everything is going to be moved over to 5ch.net by then. It's either a cat or a wolf or a dog. I don't know. So this essentially, to a lot of Japanese people, was an admission of guilt by Jim that he did steal it, and he does see 2ch.net getting intercepted or taken back by Hiroyuki in the near future. So things are pretty dire from what I've seen. And let me find this real quick. I do have it in my history. Hopefully, not what I wanted. So Jim has been terminating his relationship. Oh, no fucking way. This better be fucking archived. If this isn't archived, I'm going to be properly fucking butt mangled over this. Oh, thank fucking God. Okay, this was deleted off their Twitter. I wonder why. Let's find out. I worked at the Goldwater for close to 3 years, and the entire team was fired without any warning or notice in any way, shape, or form. No severance pay, no notice. Today, they booted me from the chat room, too, without notice. Thanks, Code Monkey, Burdock, and Jim. Goldwater was one of those little sites that 8chan has been running in parallel to try and make money. In fact, if you've used 8chan, you've probably noticed ads to the Goldwater. And Jim had a little team set up for that. So since this ruling has come in, they have started murdering like any of their other assets. They're liquidating, or they're reverse liquidating everything. They're selling anything they can sell. They're shutting down staffers that they don't need. And they're spending money. From what I've heard, Jim has spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on vehicles and businesses and all sorts of shit just to get rid of any money he might have in a bank account that the U.S. can touch. He is completely bankrupting himself intentionally to make sure that that Hiroyuki will never get a penny from him. So there's not only that. Let's see. I mentioned the businesses. I mentioned the contradiction in his testimony, the court order. I mentioned heroes in the U.S. trying to get the website and the domain. Jim, Jim was a nasty guy when I first met him. He was nasty, and I was always optimistic about him, and people were too. There was a time where Jim was waving around a statement by the WIPO, which is the funniest name ever because I can't imagine how to pronounce it without just saying WIPO, like white people, like the way that black people say white people. Let me actually just show you what the WIPO is. The World Intellectual Property Organization. It is an international organization for mediating IP disputes. And they are essentially a useless organization. They have no power. They have no international power to enforce any of their verdicts. So when WIPO says that, based on the information that is given to them, Jim owns 2Channel, they have no way to enforce that. Whereas the Japanese courts, one would imagine, have similar intellectual property and contract laws to the United States, because after World War II, the United States completely rewrote the Japanese legal system to be American-esque. So if the Japanese issue a court order relating to a U.S. person's, and they bring it over to the United States and try to enforce it here, there's a very good chance that it's going to get enforced here. Or they're going to be brought into yet another legal battle that'll last for years. And Jim will be ending up owing even more money. But considering he's already bankrupting himself, chances are he's not going to have that much money left anyways. So, I mean, things look pretty fucking dire, because if Jim gives up 8chan, it's just going to get shut down. He owns it now. There's no Hot Wheels involvement at all. Like, Fredrick can't just take it and move it somewhere. He's not involved in the company at all at this point. The only way I see it surviving is if Ron tries, or Code Monkey, as he's known on the site, tries to take it and run with it. Who knows how long it'll last. And so, I mean, 8chan is now, as I say, is facing an existential threat that it hasn't seen since the days where Fredrick was having to deal with host migrations every week or so. Things are pretty fucking dire, and I can't imagine, it's an expensive site to run. It has terabytes of data. That's not cheap. Bandwidth on its own is not cheap. Hardware is not cheap. Rental space for hardware is not fucking cheap. And maybe Code Monkey has enough money to maintain 8chan indefinitely. But that's why I've named the stream Goodbye Jim, because no matter what happens, Jim's out of this now. I think based on his general mismanagement, that no matter what happens, Ron is not going to let him have any involvement whatsoever. It's not going to be his servers or his companies or his person involved in any real capacity. He might still update his blog on the site, but he's not in any way really going to be involved with 8chan. And who knows, Jim could be so spiteful that he might not let Ron take it. I mean, Ron can take a copy of it and run with it, but if Jim says you can't have it, what happens then? Like, Jim's been acting crazy. So who the fuck knows what's ever going to happen? But yeah, now, if you have any questions, let me know. It's this is my little rant. I just wanted to get this off. I wanted to show people the translation of this. I'll be hosting this probably on the QE Farms in some way, so that you can look at it on your own, because we have a section specifically for legal issues. But I'm going to poke around and see if I see any comments right now. Let's see. Which Jim? Really? Do you think do you think Medicare owns a fucking Japanese image board? Come on, dude. Jim fed Ron to the pigs? Maybe. Tell us more about the pig farm. Jim owns a variety of businesses inside the Philippines. Now, as a white person, as a white man, You can't own property in the Philippines. It has to be in the name of a Filipino national. I think Jim's actually expatriated to the Philippines, but it's probably all in his wife's name because women in the Philippines can't divorce. And that's a protection for property things. So expats can come to the Philippines, marry, put everything in their wives' names, and then their wife can't take it. So I think that's what he's doing right now. All of his little businesses in the Philippines are there to give him some padding if anything were to happen with 2Channel or his money. Wheat fields. Yeah, I'm sure Jim's killed people. I'm sure. Does Jim own a mail order bride with a moon face? I don't think I ever met his wife. Talk about our Jim. You know, there's a guy stream sniping him. I don't care. People can do whatever they want with my streams. I don't like enforce a copyright with them. What's new with the wheelchair lad? As far as I know, Hot Wheels he has converted to Christianity, and he's been working on fonts. He is independently wealthy right now because of crypto. Please talk about Hot Wheels experience with Jim. I don't know how much I can say. He told me some things, but I don't want to say things that I shouldn't. I just know that he's not involved with the company, and he doesn't trust Jim's decision making anymore. Someone I know used to help Americans start businesses in the Philippines by being part owner. Yeah, I'm sure you can make money that way. Pirated copies of my streams on eBay. Good luck. Working on fonts. Yes, if you go to I wonder if his thing's still up. Can we go to Hot Wheel Beat That? Yep. See, he still works on typography. He's big into that kind of stuff. No, he does not trust Jim at all. And I don't think anybody trusts Jim or Ron. No, that picture was Hot Wheels out. Yeah, this is from a long time ago. This isn't a recent picture. He's a Christian now. Yes, he is. Okay, the base. I kind of give an intro to him at the start of the stream, so I'd suggest watching the VOD if you want my introduction to Fredrick. He used to own Wizard Chan. He lost his virginity, so he couldn't own Wizard Chan anymore. He started up a side image board project called 8chan with a Reddit style image board, like a Reddit style take on image boards. And after Gamergate, it became such a hot topic, it burned through hosts, and Jim Watkins was the one to give it a permanent platform on the same servers as 2chan. It's a good font. Yes, he's very knowledgeable in fonts, and he helped me understand typography quite a bit while I was in the Philippines. Is Jim Watkins a wizard? No, he has like kids in every Asian state. My opinion on NNTP Chan. NNTP Chan is the way of the future, and I think if we don't find a way for decentralization to work, we are completely fucked. Hot Wheels is a Christian that believes in eugenics, LMFAO. He's as much a Christian as your mom is monogamous. I have no opinions on that. I think we should kill every baby. Sorry, that's my edgy opinion. I have no opinions on. I think we should use eugenics to fucking weed out undesirables. What's wrong with that? Basically, Jim quietly bought out 8chan and then kicked out Hot Wheels. He didn't buy it, even. He just got it because he was the only person willing to host it. Did Jim touch my pee? No. Fuck babies. That's bullying. I can't condone bullying. Just fucking around with the two are at odds. Oh, Jim, yes. Kill all star babies. Assume control of it. Wait, why is somebody saying my name? Did I miss something? How many bones did Hot Wheels break when he got wet for the first time? Or got his wet for the first time? I don't think he broke any bones. He only breaks bones going down the sidewalk. What's my favorite font? Quattrocinto. How much longer until 8chan is dead? I'm not going to say that 8chan's going to die, because if 8chan doesn't die, I'm going to look like a fool. But I will say that Jim will probably be uninvolved in 8chan. By the end of 2019, like I want to say whenever this gets enforced in the U.S. So that could, I mean, it's a legal system, so it could take God knows how long. This verdict came out in June, I want to say, in June of 2018. So Hiroyuki's already been in the U.S. for quite some time trying to get it enforced. It could be, I mean, it could be as early 2019, but I'll say by the end of 2019 he'll be out of it. Let's see. Not Fura Code Retina. Not my coding font. I don't know. I don't really have a preference for coding fonts, but I do like Quattrocinto is the font that the Kiwi Farm uses. Do I have babies in the Asian countries? Not that I know of. Am I going to stream Theater Bingo now? Probably not. It's too late here. This is a depressing topic. Let's see, anything else? Have I seen Richmond Police? I have not. I heard some drama about it, but I don't know. Sorry for getting quiet. I'm reading stuff. Does your mom know that you used to browse Intel? Intel was always the best board of 8chan. Cheer up, Josh. One day, Hot Wheels' dream of P2P and in boards will be real. Maybe, probably. But I mean, there's no real backing behind it. I think everything that's ever been done has been done for selfish reasons, and there's no real selfish reasons to get into decentralized technology. You lose money for it. Can Hot Wheels walk now? No, he can't walk. He can scoot. He's a pretty fast scooter. Josh was afraid that Jim was going to feed him to pigs and left the country. Let me make this perfectly clear for everybody, because this has been a thing for a while now. Yes, Jim is a terrifying fucking guy. It's not a joke. The man is a fucking weirdo thief, pornographer who lives in the Philippines and owns a pig farm. You know that nigga's killed people. You know that nigga killed people. That nigga killed people. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking hang around in the fucking Philippines with this fucking guy who's got a pig farm. Fuck that. Fuck that. That's not happening. Who took Hot Wheels' virginity? I don't know. She was a pillhead. She would steal his pills. That's all I know. She was also fat. Who is scarier, Jim or Duterte? Jim is. Duterte only kills drug dealers. I ain't a drug dealer. Modafinil ain't even a drug. Josh doesn't want to be bored. No, I do not. No, I don't want to see the pigs. Fuck that. I've been sociopath instincts kicking in? Yes. I'm just saying, if I wanted to kill somebody, that's how I do it. Jim sounds awesome. He's not going to be awesome bankrupt, I don't think. You think he won't get you in Ukraine? Probably not. Probably not going to get me in Eastern Europe. He's not going to have the money to get me here. Jim's not a Filipino. He's a white guy. He's the guy on the screen. Did you feed the fat pill popper? I did not. I've never met her. Let's see. Am I familiar with Perfect Dark P2P torrent thing? I've never heard of that. Or is Pigs Romanian? No. Is Hot Wheels trapped in the Asian hellhole because of Jim, or can he not afford a nice European country? He could probably afford a nice European country, but Fredrick loves the Philippines. He loves the Philippines. He really does. It's not like he's stuck there. He wants to stay there, but I hope he's okay. Somebody told me that I don't have anything to worry about because the Philippines is basically an American puppet state anyways, and if Fredrick goes missing because he's still an American, like the FBI would do something, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to be there. When America exports their cyberbullies, sometimes they're sending their best. Sometimes. Yeah, I lived in the Philippines for 7 months, dude. Are my servers ready for Gamergate 2.0? Fuck yeah, they are. I've been building up. You guys need to support me on Patreon. No, wait. You can't. You can't do that. Does he eat balut? Yes, he does. That motherfucker will crack open an egg and slurp down a fucking baby chicken. I don't know how the fuck he does that shit. That's disgusting, but he loves it. Sargon just declared Gamergate 2 to start. I don't think Sargon would be sending his Gamergate Legion to the Kiwi farms. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like me. Am I prepped for an influx of users if 8chan goes down? I don't think that's going to happen. How many girls with dicks did you bang in the Philippines? I've never fucked anybody in the Philippines. Well, let me show you this, though. Hold up. This is a famous picture from back in the day. I wonder to see how long it's going to take me to find this, because it was such a great meme back in the day. It's buried now probably. Oh fuck yeah, it is. Here. There we go. He has since recounted his philandering ways and has repented to the Lord. But that was Hot Wheels in the heyday. What happened to the Ralph Retort forums? Did he take them down? No, they're still up. It's just forum.theralphretort.com. Just a man with his lads. Answer my question. Is Jim a cannibal for eating the pigs that eat his enemies? I would say yes. That's pretty badass. Are all those genetic females? I'm pretty sure. Hey, when you have Bitcoin money in the Philippines, it goes far. They don't have dicks. This is what women look like in the Philippines. They don't look 12. Come on now. Stop being bullies. Alright. Anything else? If 8chan were to go down, where in your opinion would be the best site to migrate to? Fuck if I know. Like 4chan, after Hiroyuki got in, he did a lot of things people have been asking Moot to do for fucking years. He added the LGBT board. He reduced moderation across the site. He added trash, so off-topic threads just get moved to trash instead of being deleted. Like, he did a bunch of things that people really like on the site. It's like 4chan services most of the needs that an average poster on 8chan would want. Kind of. I mean, unless you're there for Cal or unless you're there for QAnon, which is pretty much everybody. I mean, that's just it. Like at the centralized image board game, like 4chan probably is where people would go if they got banned, or they would just stop browsing image boards altogether. Let's see. Flipping back. Does Hot Wheels have CP, aka cerebral palsy? No, he does not. He has osteus imperfecta. 4chan is adding custom boards? Are you kidding me? What? What? You're full of shit. No, what? No, it's not. I googled it. You're fucking lying. Please don't tell me you support QAnon. I absolutely fucking do not. But QAnon is like the largest board on the entire site now. Well, that's what somebody said. Do you see do you see 4chan adding custom boards? Probably not. Not until Hiroyuki starts making money with 4chan. Then he'll add more shit like that. Josh, what the hell was that? What do you mean? Would you be willing to be specific 8chan boards like HGG? I don't know what that means. I don't use any boards on 8chan except Cal, the shitpost. How do we give shekels? Bitcoin. Have I gotten the cables I need for my PC yet? No, my shit's coming in tomorrow. Then I'll stream video games or something this week. Regarding a couple of people have asked me about streams that are coming up. No, like I don't have any plans for next week. I don't even know what I'm doing this week. I might do a stream on that crazy woman from England, but probably not because she'll just get mad and start flagging shit. Stop name dropping Moo. I will. Sorry, my bad. I did not mean to name drop 8ch.net/Cal. Please do not post there. Thank you. Reminder: Joseph Fritzl is still alive. I never post in Cal's threads about me because they're shit. They're full of, like, they're so angsty. It's such a sad place. You can tell they're all people that are just butthurt. The general thread is way more fun. I only post in the general thread for HN usually. All right, this is all getting off topic from 8chan. Any last call for questions regarding 8chan? And then I'll cut the stream and I'll upload what I got to the other YouTube channel. All right, I think that's going to be it for the gem stream. I'm going to continue streaming after this, but for the sake of my friends watching this as a VOD on the old Kiwi Farms YouTube channel, I'm going to play an outro song with hamsters. This is only a temporary reprieve, though. I will be doing a stream on Wednesday, so for all those of you watching this after the fact out there, thank you. What about the pig farm? I already answered my question about the pig farm. Whatever.